Hey everybody, it's Kyle here and welcome to another basics video. Now, some housekeeping before we begin. I'm going to try and update these videos every Tuesday from now on, just so that I can keep uploading things, keep learning, because as long as I'm making videos, I'm also not just sort of producing something for my channel, but I'm also learning a whole lot, especially in terms of time management. That's the main reason why I want to sort of make these every Tuesday. And another thing in the last video about tiling textures, magic of tiling textures that is, we had a look at some floorboard textures, and I don't have them with me today. I don't know where they've gone off to, but we do know that we can use tiling textures for things like basic walls and basic floors, but we can also use tiling textures for things like wall trims. So if you look around your room, if I look around my room, I can see that there's some wall skirtings along the floor of the wall, right? Where the floor touches the wall, there's some skirting along there. I can use a tiling texture for that. And in terms of the actual texture itself, we have this plane here that's divided up into two with a deactivated material actually. And there it is. We have two tiling textures on one texture sheet. So technically this is a tiling texture, because if I drag that, yep, just want to keep that as, we can see that it'll tile on forever, and keep doing that again. Whoops, sorry guys. And it'll just keep tiling on and on and on and on. But you can tell, obviously, that I can't do this. Right? I can't drag it up. There you go. See, I can't do that because this only tiles left and right. It doesn't have to be left and right. You can always have it up and down as well, like that. I just prefer to work left and right because in terms of orientation, it's just a lot easier for me. So really, you can make your left and right. I think the proper term for it is single direction tiling. I think, I'm not really sure, but really, when it comes to making the texture itself, it's up to you. So how can we use this to our advantage? The good thing is we don't have to worry about having two separate textures, right? In terms of games, this reduces draw calls, right? It just, instead of having one draw call for these bricks, not bricks, they're like stone blocks, and one draw call for these wooden planks, we just have to have one. As long as they're used sort of in the same piece of geometry, then that's fine. But if they're going to be, say these stone blocks are going to be used somewhere else, and these wooden planks are going to be used on another building, then that's when it can become a waste. So when you're creating your texture atlas, this is also called a texture atlas because there's more than one texture on it. When you're using a texture atlas, just make sure that you are grouping the sort of similar textures together. You're reducing draw calls as much as possible. That's the whole point of texture atlasing. So how can we sort of turn this into a usable piece of geometry? Well, let's select this lower piece here, because that's what I wanted to use for this demo. We'll give it a name. We'll call them blocks. And we can deselect that. Go back to this, and just let me fix some things up. Yeah, when you duplicate a face here in Max, the pivot point stays with the original, so you have to change that manually. Alright, so now we have this piece of geometry here, which is just the blocks. Let's connect that. And you can see I've divided up. I've already done all the maths for it, so here I've just divided up into two more blocks, and we can actually bevel that. So here's the bevel options. And we don't want to bevel it as a group, because you won't get that sort of split down the middle. To get that split in between the blocks, just like the texture shows, we want to do it by polygon. And I think that's enough for in terms of extrusion. Let's beef up, actually let's bevel it just a little bit more. Yep, that's good. Alright, so we can see now that instantly there's a lot of problems with the texture, and we need to fix that, right? So let's go into the UV unwrap, UVW, open the editor. Hang on. It always opens up on the other screen for me. We go, like I showed you in the last video, right? We go to that, let that load up, and we can see here that these vertices are all up here. Right, they're not actually where we want them to be. That's what's causing the stretching. So let's fix that. And we just want to select all the vertices that we need. Yep. Now we do have a locking tool. We can lock the selection using this icon, just like in the actual editor window itself. We've got this selection lock, so we can click that, and now you just have to worry about moving it into the right position. So when you're actually working on environment art, this is imperative. This is a required skill, that you know how to use a texture atlas. If you don't know how to use a texture atlas, you better learn really quick. That's what I've found anyway. So here we go. We're gonna select these two verts again. So really we're just manually lining it up with the texture itself. There is a faster way to do it, but I prefer to do it this way because I have absolute control over what gets selected and what doesn't. And really, at the end of the day, it's about how it looks in the game, or if you're making a film, how it looks in the film rather than the process. But at the same time, speed is the number one thing. It's a priority as well. Okay, so now it's well, it's in terms of geometry, it's clean now. It's cleaner than it was before anyway, and I'm not quite satisfied with the position of those. So let me put those, drag those back a bit. Yep, that's a lot better. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Let's collapse the stack, and you can see that it'll still tile actually. So just drag that across. There you go. Still tiles. Oh well. But if we zoom in, we can see that the hard edges are still there. To get rid of that, it's pretty simple. It's a basic modeling technique. It's to allow smoothing groups. Now I want to set that to smoothing group 1, but I want to keep the hard edge in between these two blocks, right? So what you would naturally do, of course, is to set that to smoothing group 2. And there you go. We have a sort of well, we have 2 blocks, and we can tile that across infinitely. So we can tile it left and right, but because I've only used half of the texture atlas, we can also tile this area up and down. Pretty cool, huh? Now, let's get rid of those 2 pieces because I don't need them anymore. Next week, I'll actually get to texturing a hand-painted building. I've never really dabbled in hand-painted textures that much, so as you can tell with the wood planks texture, it looks very amateurish. It doesn't look that great. That's because normally I would work on photo referenced materials, so I'd actually go outside, get with my camera and take textures that I see in the world. So really, this for me is, I hope I'm teaching you guys something, but it is quite a learning experience for me as well. I've just figured out how to sort of paint stone textures and wood textures and things like that. So stick around for the next video. In the next video, I'll be actually putting together what I've taught you these last 2 videos to sort of texture up about 80% of a building that I've planned. I'm going to keep that a secret though. And so stick around, like and subscribe. If you have any topics that you'd like me to cover, like texture atlasing in general, please leave a comment in the comment section below. But until then, keep making textures, keep making awesome games. I'll see you all later. Bye.